Last week, I did a formal debate with Andy on penal, substitutionary, atonement. Let me give you the briefing. Before I say anything, I love Andy, he's a great guy, please don't throw shade his way, but I have to say there were gaping holes in his argument. Now, I'm not even going to mention the fact that my opening statement clearly laid out why PSA is biblical, and he didn't mention it in the whole debate. But here are two places he came awfully unstuck. One of them was covenant theology. I got Andy to admit that the Bible is a covenant book shaped on the ancient Near Eastern practice. You have a king who enters covenant with a servant, they both make promises and obligations to one another, and stitched in are blessings and curses. And the curse of God, following the ancient Near Eastern practice, is unalivement. Now, Andy tried to argue that unalivement is a consequence, as if it's just sort of floating in the ether away from God. But here's the big problem. He had to admit that God is not true to his word. God says he will punish evil, but Andy says God doesn't punish evil. And so God goes back on his covenant word. In other words, God is a covenant breaker according to Andy. Watch the debate. It's in the cross. It's an atrocious moment. Secondly, I love this. I got Andy to admit that Jesus drinks the cup of God's wrath. I then ask him, so Jesus receives God's wrath? And he says, no. My friends laughed at this, by the way. If Socrates drinks a cup of poison, he doesn't receive a cup of poison? If a Catholic drinks the blood of Christ, they don't receive Christ? You see, Andy's so committed to his position, he has to admit absurdities. Watch the debate. It's in the cross. But then Andy's argument, what did he have to say? Here was his big argument. Are you ready? John 10, Jesus said, "No one takes my life from me. I lay it down. Therefore, God didn't take Jesus' life." That was it. That was the main argument. Let's think about that for a moment. Did the soldiers Jesus? Did the Jewish leaders Jesus? Did Pilate Jesus? Did my sin Jesus? The Bible answers yes to all of those things. So what is Jesus saying in John 10? You don't need a PhD in physics to work it out. It comes off the back of John 9, where the religious leaders want Jesus gone. So in John 10, Jesus says he won't fall prey to circumstances. His unalivement won't be an accident. He's in control of the event. And so it's not an anti-PSA biblicist comment. It's contextual. In that sense, Andy failed miserably. PSA was just clearly established from the beginning, and he never even planted a single doubt in my mind.